Right, folks, how's it going? Sorry for the delay. I've been pissing about with my microphone. It's supposed to be a good one. For some reason, it sounds a bit shit. I don't know why. Anyway, I just had to make this video. I'm fucking loving it, right? We've all established that these batty, far-left activists, the ones the Americans colloquially call social justice warriors, basically it means any silly cunt who buys and reads The Guardian. So that's pretty much everyone who works at the BBC and the monumental group of thunder cunts that work at the Independent and a few other lefty publications. We all know they know fuck all. That's why they were amazed by Brexit and they were amazed by Trump, and they couldn't fucking fathom that nobody had changed their minds and everyone was just as intent on fucking leaving as they ever were, because funny old thing, most people aren't ridiculous arseholes that's completely shit all over the idea of democracy. Millions of people voted to remain and thought, you know what, actually, after 3 years of taking the fucking piss, I think I've changed my mind. I said that all along. It's my last gloating video I made. Fucking principled remainers voted to leave. Because if you fucking voted to... If someone like me that didn't vote at all and then after 3.5 years was like fucking Nigel Farage with chronic hemorrhoids, I think it's fucking totally understandable why a shit ton of people would go from being remainers to reluctant leavers, because it's not about Brexit, it's about the fucking principle of the matter. Anyway, they're all fucking idiots. They walk around with one thumb wedged firmly up their arsehole and a sack over their head, because they know nothing. I've said it before, the SJWs have the situational awareness of a fucking goldfish in a hijab. That's how much they take notice of what goes on in the fucking world. Anyway, this story made me piss myself because it proved the point I've talked about lots of times. The louder someone shouts about social justice activism or feminism or any of that shit, the more likely you should be deeply suspect of them. Because it's everyone knows, right? The two groups of people who talk the most about how honest they are is politicians and lawyers. And the two groups of people that lie more than fucking... who lies a lot? Richard Nixon with fucking Tourette's syndrome. They lie more than anyone on planet Earth. So it stands to reason that if you get a guy who's like, oh yeah man, I'm all about the feminism, I'm all about equality, he's going to turn out to be a sex pest. He's going to be one of them creepy weird fuckers that goes on and on and on and on and on and wears a pussy hat and talks about, yeah, women are equal, and the next thing you catch him fucking wanking himself off on the back of a school bus. These are the people I'm talking about. So, a couple of years back, I'm sure you lads remember it. Yeah, remember this shit? Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. What? Everything? A multi-millionaire athlete who's never done a real day's work in his fucking life has sacrificed everything, has he? A fucking suicide bomber sacrifices everything. And even that, not very moral, is it? Doesn't mean shit. Remember this piece I wrote? Will you boycott Nike for supporting Colin Kaepernick? I might have made the point there. What did I say? Yeah, you should never be afraid to protest in a peaceful country, right? Yeah, it should make you proud when you see American kids burning flags and acting like cunts, because it's freedom in action. Yeah, that was me taking the piss out of Colin. Look, what's he protesting? What is he protesting? He doesn't know. It's just an extremely nebula, cops are shit type of thing. He doesn't even know what he's protesting. It's bullshit. Welcome to Subjugation Mansion. We'll go for a drive in Oppression Mobile, and then I'll take it to Submission Jacuzzi. Yeah, he's sacrificed fuck all. So anyway, because of the strength of that shit, the social justice wankers, they all suddenly turned into Nike fanboys. And again, anyone who's normal, middle of the road, relatively sane person was just sitting there going, why do you jump in on these like sort of infantile little crusades? Why don't you just live your fucking life? If you want to buy some Nike trainers, knock your fucking self out. If you prefer the Adidas ones, buy them. I don't care. Only these twats got so into it, they were like, yeah, let's buy Nike shit all the time. And everybody else was just going, it's a marketing ploy. You think the guys in charge of Nike, the same company, Nike, if you're from England, the same company that is famous for getting little kids to sew fucking Eric Cantona footballs for a penny a week, you think they give a flying fuck about Colin Kaepernick? I don't think so. So, All the silly cunts started buying Nike. They love Nike. They couldn't get enough Nike. And then, look at this, what I found today. I was the fastest girl in America until I joined Nike. NYT opinion. It says Mary Kane's male coaches were convinced she had to get thinner and thinner and thinner. Then her body started breaking down. Let's have a look together, shall we, and see how moral Nike really is.
I was the fastest girl in America.
Mary Kane, there are women here almost twice her age, being left in her wake.
I set many national records, and I was a straight A student. When I was 16, I got a call from Alberto Salazar at Nike. He was the world's most famous track coach, and he told me I was the most talented athlete he'd ever seen. During my freshman year in college,
I bet he said he was a feminist as well, yeah. Oh, I love women, yeah, can't get enough of them. I'll do anything for them. Like starve them to death and make them run on a treadmill until the fucking eyeballs bleed.
college, I moved out to train with him and his team full-time at Nike World Headquarters. It was a team of the fastest athletes in the world, and it was a dream come true. I joined Nike because I wanted to be the best female athlete ever. Instead, I was emotionally and physically abused by a system designed by Alberto and endorsed by Nike.
Progressive.
This is what happened to me. When I first arrived, an all-male Nike staff became convinced that in order for me to get better, I had to become thinner and thinner and thinner. This Nike team was the top running program in the country. And yet we had no certified sports psychologist, there was no certified nutritionist.
It's almost funny, isn't it? Like, get thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner, but nobody there actually knows anything about like sports science or dietary requirements for athletes or like anything. They're just a bunch of blokes who sell shoes for a living. Maybe they heard that old joke about the Ethiopians, and that was what they based the training regime on. You remember it? What's the fastest thing on planet Earth? An Ethiopian chasing a chicken. Oh no, I think it was the second fastest thing. I think the chicken was the fastest fucking thing. Oh no, it was, what's the second fastest thing on Earth was an Ethiopian chasing a chicken through the desert. And the fastest thing on Earth was Evel Knievel driving a motorbike through Ethiopia with a pie on his head. Childish jokes. I think my dad told me them when I was about 7. I'm pretty sure Ethiopia hasn't been in famine for 35 years either, but yeah, what can you do?
It was really just a bunch of people who were Alberto's friends. So when I went to anybody for help, they would always just tell me the same thing, and that was to listen to Alberto. Alberto was constantly trying to get me to lose weight. He created an arbitrary number of 114 pounds, and he would usually weigh me in front of my teammates, and...
Just pulled the number out of his ass. How much does an Ethiopian weigh? Yeah, 114 pounds. Fuck it, do that.
publicly shame me if I wasn't hitting weight. He wanted to give me birth control pills and diuretics to lose weight, the latter of which isn't allowed in track and field. I ran terrible during this time, but reached a point where I was on the starting line and I'd lost the race before I started, because in my head, all I was thinking of was not the time I was trying to hit, but the number on the scale I saw earlier that day. It would be naive to not acknowledge the fact that weight is important in sports. It's like boxers need to maintain a certain weight, or, everybody always ends up citing the math about how the thinner you are, the faster you're gonna run because you have to carry less weight. But here's a biology lesson I learned the hard way. When young women are forced to push themselves beyond what they're capable at their given age, they're at risk for developing REDS. Suddenly, you realize you've lost your period for a couple months, and then a couple months becomes a couple years, and in my case, it was a total of 3. And if you're not getting your period, you're not going to be able to have the necessary levels of estrogen to maintain strong bone health. And in my case, I broke 5 different bones. The New York Times Magazine published a story.
So they turned her into Mr. Glass from Unbreakable. Good job, lads. Yeah, very tolerant and progressive. Yeah, all about the women. Nike.
About how Alberta was training me and nurturing my talent. We weren't doing any of that. I felt so scared, I felt so alone, and I felt so trapped. And I started to have suicidal thoughts. I started to cut myself. Some people saw me cutting myself, and nobody really did anything or said anything.
Fucking criminal. See, we don't need to watch it all. I'll link it in the description. The short version is that bunch of cunts, beloved by the lefty wankers. Yeah, I bet Jezza wears Nike. Although no, he's fucking looks like a scabby old tramp. He looks like Rabsy Nesbitt if he went on an extreme diet. Maybe that's what happened. He went after Colin Kaepernick, he was so into Nike, he went on a Nike training regime, and that's why he looks like man barely alive, a fucking walking corpse in a string vest. Yeah, it's criminal, fucking criminal. So, short version, folks, is yeah, like I've always said, if some cunt goes on and on and on, women, single women, if you're gonna go out dating, if you get sat across from a bloke, you meet him on Tinder, and he marches in and he's like, oh yeah, baby, I'm all about feminism, all about the women's rights. You know he's got 3 women chained to the radiator in his fucking, under his mum's house. That's what I think of these cunts. Get people like me, a little bit coarse, a little bit crass. Maybe we occasionally say sexist things, but ultimately we're feminists, you know. I'm married, I had a mother, and I love my grandparents. And, you know, you want the best for birds. You go, if you want to be a bricklayer or a plumber, fuck knows why. Women get all the best ones. But if you want to be a plumber, you go for it. You want to join the fucking Green Berets, love, you knock yourself out. Like most English liberals, I'm a social liberal chap, and I think birds should be allowed to do whatever they want. But I'm not pathological about it. I wouldn't go in for a date and go, hey, baby, let's talk about women's rights. Because someone that does that type of shit is probably a fucking sex pest. You'll start dating him, and the next thing, he'll have dug an old woman up, and he'll be gorilla fucking her over the wall of a graveyard. That's the type of shit these freaks get up to. So, yeah, wonderful video to watch. Somewhat depressing, but I love being proved right, and I'll never tire of it. What's the other thing if you like? It's an interesting story. These people are fucking idiots. Cheers, lads. See you around.